All right, example 1 looks a lot like what we did yesterday. I just also threw in the extra detail of finding the area and the circumference. So I mentioned that the way that I like to set these problems up still to this day is I write x squared minus 10x and then I go plus blank. And then plus y squared plus 16y plus blank. And then whatever I do to the left-hand side, I have to do to the right-hand side also. So it's -8, and then I'm going to add on those 2 blanks that I'm going to find on the left-hand side. So we looked at this a couple different ways. We did it a visual way or not. The visual that we did was for x squared minus 10x. We took that minus 10 part and we split it into 2 pieces, -5 and -5. So that gave us x squared minus 5x minus 5x. That's where the minus 10x came from. And then what we fill in the blank with is -5 times -5, which was 25. If you're not somebody who likes a visual as much, you could just take half of this middle term, half of the coefficient of x, -5, and square it, multiply it by itself. And that gives you what you fill in the blank with. Let's try the same thing for y squared plus 16y plus blank. We need to split the 16 into 2 pieces. So that's going to be 8 and 8. So we get y squared, we get 8y and 8y. That's where the 16y comes from. And then 8 times 8 is 64. So that's what we fill in the blank with. So if you didn't like the visual way, just think of it as splitting 16 up into 2 pieces, 8 and 8, multiply them together, and that's what you fill in the blank with. And then whatever we did on the left-hand side, we have to do on the right-hand side too. So we added 25 on the left, so we have to add 25 on the right. We added 64 on the left, so we have to add 64 on the right also. All right, so as far as what our final equation is going to look like, this one you can really tell from the visual. We literally have an x minus 5 by x minus 5 square. So that's what that's going to look like. From this visual, we literally have a y plus 8 and a y plus 8 square. And then to figure out what our radius squared piece is going to be, we have to do -8 plus 25 plus 64, which is 81. So that's our equation in standard form. Yesterday, I was asking you to find the center and the radius. Today, I asked you to find the area and the circumference of the circle. So I'm going to do a quick RDCA. I showed you a really good trick in the last unit. I said this 81 is already your radius squared. So all you need to do is put a pi on it, and that's your area. And then if you square root the 81, that gives you the radius. So double it to get the diameter, and diameter times pi gives you your circumference. So the circumference is 18 pi and the area is 81 pi. So that was one more just straightforward completing the square example to show you. The next couple have a little bit of a twist added to them. All right, at first glance, it might look the same as the last one, but some of the pieces are in the wrong spot. Normally, I like to say x squared plus something x plus blank, but where are my x's? They're on the wrong side. So I need to bring these x's over to where they belong, and I need to bring these y's over to where they belong on this side also. And once I do that quick step, now this looks just like the problems that we studied yesterday. X squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 14y equals 35. So I just needed a little bit of rearranging, and now it looks just like what we're used to. I'm going to do my completing the square thing. X squared minus 8x plus blank plus y squared plus 14y plus blank equals 35 plus blank plus blank. All right, I'm not going to do the visual this time. I'm just going to split -8 into 2 pieces, -4 and -4, which gives me 16 to fill in the blank. And whatever you do to the left-hand side, you have to do to the right. Then I'm going to split 14 into 2 pieces, 7 and 7. So that tells me what to fill in the blank with, 49. And then I can factor it. What are the 2 things that I squared to get 16? what was the thing I squared? -4 squared was 16. -4 times -4. So that's what goes in my parentheses. What did I square to get 49? 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So that's how I can factor it. And then I just need to add up what 35 plus 16 plus 49 is. And it is 100. So that's my equation in standard form. And then again, it says find the area and the circumference of the circle. So my quick trick is r squared is 100. So my area is 100 pi. Square root the 100 to get a radius of 10. And then I can double the 10 to get the diameter and put a pi on it to get the circumference. There's another completing the square. All right, I have one more little twist that can be put on one of these problems. And that is, what do you do if instead of x squared and y squared, it says 3x squared and 3y squared? Well, I have good news. If as long as it's a circle, those two numbers have to be the same. So you're never going to have like a 3x squared and a 5y squared, because it would actually be a different shape. It wouldn't be a circle. So what you can do, because those coefficients are always going to be the same number, is don't even try to mess with like factoring something out. I always see all sorts of complicated stuff. The best, easiest, and really kind of only way to do these problems well is just to divide everything by 3. Are you allowed to do that? Yes, because I'm going to do it to the left-hand side and the right-hand side, so I'm going to keep my equation balanced. So 3x squared divided by 3 gives me the x squared I'm used to. 66x divided by 3 gives me 22x. 3y squared divided by 3 gives me just y squared like I'm used to. -12y divided by 3 is -4y. And then 132 divided by 3 is 44. All right, let's do our completing the square thing. Don't worry about that 3 again. It does not come back and factor into anything else in the problem again. We divided it on both sides. It's gone forever. Don't try to bring it back into the problem. So we're ready to do our completing the square thing. X squared plus 22x plus blank plus y squared minus 4y plus blank equals 44 plus the two things that we added to the left-hand side. So again, I'm not going to do the visual on this one. I'm just going to split 11 into two pieces, 11 and 11. And when I do 11 squared, it gives me 121. So if I fill it on this blank on the left-hand side, I also have to put it in this blank on the right-hand side. Then I'm going to split -4 into two pieces. That's -2 and -2. A negative times a negative is positive. You always get a positive number when you fill in that blank. You never square something and get a negative. If your calculator tells you so, it's because you didn't put something in parentheses. So it is a fact that every time you square a real number, you get a positive. So -2 times -2 is 4. All right, let's factor this. So x squared plus 22x plus 121. 121 is 11 squared. So x plus 11 squared. 4 is 2 squared. Be really careful though, because remember I needed -4y, so I need y minus 2 squared. And then let's add up 44 plus 121 plus 4, and that gives me 169. So there's my equation in standard form. I'm going to do my RDCA thing again because I asked for area and circumference. My little area trick is 169 pi. Square root 169 and get 13. You double 13 and you get 26 for the diameter, which means 26 pi is the circumference. So I can ask you guys all sorts of questions. I can ask you for the equation. I can ask you for the center. I can ask you for the radius, diameter, circumference, area. There's even more questions that I could ask you about lines related to the circle, but we only have so much time, so we're not even going to get into that. All right, I have one more problem for you guys. I noticed last week some people had a little bit of trouble graphing circles, so I thought I would bring that in one more time. This is not in standard form though, so we have to complete the square to put it in standard form and then use what we learned last week. So x squared plus 2x plus blank, y squared minus 8y plus blank, 8 plus blank plus blank. So I'm going to split 2 into 2 equal pieces, 1 and 1. And 1 squared is 1. You'd be surprised how many times I see people make a mistake on that one fact. So 1 times 1 is 1, not 2. All right, I put a 1 in that blank, so I have to put a 1 in that blank also. And then I have to split -8 into 2 pieces. So -4 and -4 means I'm going to fill in this blank with 16, which means this is going to be a 16 here also. All right, x squared plus 2x plus 1, that is x plus 1 squared. Y squared minus 8y plus 16. What do you square to get 16? 4. Since it's -8y, you have to be careful. It's -4. -4 and -4 is where the -4y and -4y is where that -8y comes from. And then 8 plus 1 plus 16 is 25. So there's our equation in standard form. We can pick out the center using what we learned in the last unit. It's x plus 1 squared, so it's going to be -1. It's y minus 4 squared, so it's going to be +4. So I can plot the point -1, so that means left 1, up 4. Some people were asking me about graphing and plotting points. Remember, you always start from the origin, and then from there go left 1 and up 4. All right, my radius, I have to square root 25. So my radius is 5. So that means I want to go 5 in every direction from the center. The center is not a point on my circle. So I start at the center. I go right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dot. That's a point on my circle. Back to the center. Go left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, draw a dot. That's a point on my circle. Go back to the center, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the center and down 5. The center is in the middle of your circle, but it's not actually a point on it. All right, I'm losing my voice, so that means we've come to the end of the video.